Hello and welcome to Crafty Concepts with Erin. Today I have this cut above layout kit from the World is Yours May special. So you can see these two kits here. In the kit you get all the pieces already pre-cut to make the layouts that I just showed you. So we have the title and all these wonderful stickers, and then these are kind of punch out shapes. They're not quite as thick as like a chipboard element, but they do tear out easily. And then here is the base pages for one layout, and then the second layout. So the elements are already partially pre-printed on there to make the process easier or faster for you. You also get these 3 page protectors with the kit. Today I'm going to focus on this lower layout here, but I'm going to switch it up and make it my own and just more coordinate with the pictures I'm going to use. So we start with the pre-printed base layout there, and then we have these photo mats already cut for us. So I'm going to take a minute to punch out all the pieces I'm going to use. I'm not going to use all of them because some of them just don't fit, but these are stickers, so I'm not going to pull those off until I'm ready. Okay, so starting on the upper right hand corner, you just lay down the first hexagon piece and then you build from there. So I decided I'm going to ink up the edges of this piece just to help it stand out since it's kind of white on white. And I definitely like the way that looks, so I'm going to continue that on the rest of the pieces as well. So I'm just using the cocoa ink and a sponge dauber to go around the edges of all these pieces here. And they do in the directions recommend that you pop up a few of the pieces on foam tape, and I'm a huge fan of that anyway, so I'm definitely going to follow through on that one. And I am doing some bicycling photos on this particular layout, so I thought, how perfect is that? The little bicycle emblem there. So I'm just following the directions, and I like this layout, so I'm not going to completely change it. I'm just going to add, like I said, a few personal touches to make it more my own. At first, when these cut above layout kits came out, I wasn't all that interested in them until I started to see what other scrapbookers were doing with the kits. And it wasn't like, let's see who can do it better, but it was almost a challenge to see what you could add to it. And sometimes it's hard because it's a great layout already, but it's just fun to make it your own, and we all see things differently. So like I said, it just is kind of a fun challenge to see what I can come up with and personalize the kits. So I'm definitely going to subscribe to the kit a month, which you can go over to my website to find out more about that. I'll leave a link in the description below. So now I'm ready to bring in my photos. These are just some snapshots of my older son and I. We took the bikes out to a lake close by our house here and just rode around, and it was a beautiful day and lots of fun, and I love that my kids share the same interest as I do, and it's fun that we can do these things together. So I already printed these on white or with a white border around them. You could add that with cardstock if you wanted to, but I just think it gives an extra little layer against the peach colored cardstock in the background there. So now I'm adding these wood grain stickers that they have here. It just adds a little pop of color and a little texture with the wood grain pattern there. So it almost gives the illusion that there's another mat of paper behind there, but we're just putting on some border stickers. So I'll get these on all the way around. And now I'm going to take some of these zip strips that are left over from the other part of my kit. I ended up getting the whole bundle for The World Is Yours, so I have some extra pieces that don't necessarily come in the cut above kit. But I'm just going to kind of make a base for my title over here. So again, I just love that this had little bicycles on it, so I really wanted to incorporate it into the page. And then I want to add more of that dark cocoa color, so I'm going to bring in the darker little zip strip there. And I decide to pull it through to the right hand side of the page to just kind of continue that line and help draw your eye across the layout. So I'm just going to repeat the same look on the other side. It gives the illusion of being one long continuous piece. Just kind of tying the two sides in together more so. So I'm going to do some stamping, so I'll switch my mat over to the foam side, and there's this bicycle that came with this particular stamp, and I'm just going to eyeball it here to make sure. And then I'm a cautious soul, so I'm going to do it on another piece of paper first and then cut it out. I've decided I wanted to emboss the bicycle, so we're using our Versamark ink, and then I will dip it in my black embossing powder. I feel like embossing was popular a while ago, and maybe it's just me, but I kind of stopped doing it. But I started using it again. I'm trying to use the tools I have on hand, and it's really I like the look that it gives. It really adds something and is a nice finish when you use the embossing powders for these stamps. So I'm just going to heat set that, and we will go ahead and I'll fussy cut that off camera so you guys don't have to watch that part. So now I'm ready to work on my title, and they have this enjoy the ride sentiment. So I'm just going to position this to see how I like it. And I'm going to practice on another piece of paper first just to make sure before I commit to stamping that on my actual layout. And the size is good and the color's good, but it's just kind of, I don't know, just a little lonely over there. So I decided to take the peach and this ink, light minty color ink here, and I'm just going to use a sponge and just kind of haphazardly, make kind of a spot to highlight my title there. So I'm just, it's almost kind of a watercolor effect, but without having to saturate your page. So I'm just going to put the different shades of ink around there, and then I'm ready to stamp my title in the cocoa ink. So I can see I want a little bit more color around that title, so I can just continue to add to that and get it to where I like it. And it just kind of highlights the title and just helps it to stand out more. I also have some thread here. This is just some inexpensive thread I picked up at Walmart. And this is a very clean and organized layout with a lot of white space. So I just kind of want to add some more texture and make it, a little bit messy. So thread is a good way to do that. And I'm just going to mix the two shades here because they just go so well with this layout. You just kind of ball it up around your fingers there and make a little nest, so to speak, and it just, like I said, adds some texture and some dimension, a little pop of color. And then I'll bring the bicycle in a little bit closer so they all kind of, I'm lost for words here, more like a cluster, just so they support each other, so to speak. They look like they belong together. So here on the other side I have this journaling tag that did come with the kit, and I'm just going to mat it on some cocoa cardstock to help that stand out. So I'm just trimming around the edges. Apologize, I'm off the screen there. But there we have a little journaling block. and there was a hole in it, but since I put cardstock on the back, I just had to punch through that. And I like the thread over here on the left side, so I decided to carry that element over to the right side of the page as well. So I'm just going to repeat that process, and we'll get those tacked down in just a minute. Okay, so I went ahead and did my journaling off the camera there. I'm just going to put a little piece of this burlap thread through this tag, which is from my stash I already had on hand, and I cut that too short. So we're just going to try that again. Sometimes I think trying to be conservative with my ribbons, but then you cut it too short and it just doesn't work, and then you end up wasting. So make sure you cut a long enough piece you can work with it there. And then we have this fun little pair of sunglasses, and I'm just going to pop these up with a little bit of foam tape and set them to the side here after I get my journaling block into place. And then we'll just put the little pair of shades right next to them. So I'm just getting everything tacked down, and looking at this now, I think I'd like to incorporate another hexagon, maybe down on the lower left side to help draw that down, because I covered so much of it with my title or with the strips of paper and everything. So I think I will go ahead and go back and do that later. But right now I'm using my Tombow Mono Liquid Adhesive to glue this thread into place. And I like this product. It holds very well and it dries clear, so it's a very nice, easy to use product. Just going to finish inking the edges on all of these elements. Add a little foam tape to this piece as well. And get that situated at the top of the photo just like that. So just adding a few finishing touches, they have these little gray triangles that when you put them together like this, they mimic an arrow, and arrows kind of tell us direction. So I feel like it's giving direction to the bike, like it's going to carry it across the page. So I think fun little details like this kind of have a subtle impact, but I like the way that looks. And I'm going to go ahead and get this last little piece on. This is actually from one of the extra zip strips off of the other papers, and it says "What a Great Day." So I'm just kind of moving it around the page here to see where I would like to put it, and I've decided on the bottom there, so I'm going to commit to that and get it tacked down into place. Kind of a subtitle there, "What a Great Day," which it was. It was just a simple outing, but sometimes those are the very best. So here is the pre-designed layout, and as you can see, mine is similar, but I just switched up the title and I traded out the scooter for the bike just so it went with my own photos, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Here is the finished layout, and I just want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to stop in and watch my video. Be sure to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. And for more information, check out my blog at craftyconceptswitherin.com. See you next week.